Hi, Tikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to go through again what was happening when it comes to the Senzo Meyiwa trial, and the things that were happening were very weird, if you ask me, because Sana. Hey. Anyway, so the Senzo Meyiwa trial, murder trial, erupted into another fierce legal battle when the defense informed the court that a crucial witness from the taxi violence unit may not be allowed to testify unless a court order is issued. A taxi violence unit, a witness, a very crucial one also. Do you understand that? Now, this witness wanted a court order to be issued, or the person that deals with this is Baloyi who speaks to his commander. I believe there was a misunderstanding, whether it was deliberate or not. It looked deliberate to me. It looked very deliberate to me because Baloyi and the judge, for me, they were hell-bent on misunderstanding Ramasipile, what he was trying to say. That's how I was hearing them. I do not want to even lie to you. All I heard was them being hell-bent on misunderstanding and misdirecting the information that he's putting on record. Oh, and in they were misdirecting the information that he was busy putting on record, and they did not want to hear what he was saying to them. Okay. Now, Advocate Ramasipile revealed that the defense has already subpoenaed the witness, but the witness commander allegedly refused to release him to appear in court. According to the defense, okay, at least according to Ramasipile, the commander insisted that either a court order be obtained or the state become involved before the witness could testify. And what made this to be dramatic is that the witness is reportedly preparing to go on a 30 days leave from the 5th of June, 2026, meaning time is running out for his availability. Now, the defense argued that the witness is not being called to assist either side, but to assist the court on a fundamental issue concerning the arrest of accused number 2, Bongani Ntatsi. Now, this is where I am also saying that Baloyi was intentional on on misunderstanding Ramasipile. It's not a matter of him not hearing what Ramasipile was saying. It was a matter of him saying, I am not going to be part of that. Do you understand? Ramasipile says a subpoena has been done and sent. However, the commander does not want the subpoena, Jay. The commander wants a more formal, it is formally subpoena, right? But the commander, for his own records, I suppose, wants a more formal application, like something that comes directly from the judge to show that Ugai, the witness that is going to come, is a really needed witness. And now Baloyi was like not interested in assisting. Now, uJudge Ratamu Fatleng immediately drilled into the legal foundation of the request from Ramasipile. Again, that for me was a bit questionable because he already put on record Kuti the commander wants and court order. Now, why are you taking Ramasipile from post to pillar? I did not understand that. So while he was busy taking Ramasipile from post to pillar, uJudge Ratamu Fatleng, do you know what else he did? He was changing the information that Ramasipile is saying. Ramasipile says the witness is willing to come. Rata is hearing in his own way the witness is not willing to come. And he's saying it like that as if the witness does not want to come. And went as far as asking, is the witness a compelling witness? In what sense? He needed to be told exactly what is that. Those issues for me were like weird witness. He goes, the judge repeatedly asked one question, is this witness compellable? The defense maintained that the witness was indeed compellable and referred to Section 179 of the Criminal Procedure Act, as authority for the witness being called. However, the judge was not satisfied. Imagine that. Judge Rata demanded legal authority and challenged the defense to show precisely where the law allows the court to intervene under these circumstances. Hence, I am saying something was very off there. All of that Shane was not right. Something was like questionable. The judge questioned whether the witness was actually refusing to testify or whether administrative obstacles were simply being created by the superiors. Now, this is when uRamsipile tried to explain further. In my view, Judge Rata understood from the word go, but because of whatever reasons known to him, he was being difficult. And when it became clear that the witness himself was reportedly willing to testify, but wanted either a court order or official facilitation, the debate shifted. The state then distanced itself from the dispute. Advocate Baloyi made it clear that while the state generally assists when necessary, it did not want to become involved in this particular matter because accusations already fly freely in the courtroom. That's when I was like, "Hi, man, what is this man on about now?" Okay, we will deliberate on that on a separate video. But do you see why I say Judge Rata and senior state prosecutor, Advocate Baloyi, were deliberately misunderstanding what Ramsipile was saying? Do you understand now what I meant by that? The court argued that the Criminal Procedure Act already provides a procedure for subpoenaing witnesses and that the defense should simply follow those procedures. Judge Rata continued pressing both sides. Who signs the subpoena? Does the court have to authorize it? What exactly does the law require? Can the court compel attendance if the witness himself is willing, but his commander refuses to release him? Those questions now sit at the center of this entire dispute. Then comes the moment that may determine whether the witness ever appears. Because Judge Rata was put on the spot by defense and he had no choice. There is something that is fundamental about Rata. Again, Judge Rata Mokgoatlheng does not want to be in a space whereby you clearly see him. And I don't know how he thinks. Maybe he thinks every other thing that he does in that courtroom, we do not see it. Unfortunately for him, we do. Because he has this mentality of thinking that, no, these people are dumb. They don't see the things that I do in this court. It's not that horrible or it's not that bad. Whatever they see, it's something that they miss it, what I do in this. Say, we don't miss anything. We know exactly how you are, how you do things, how you operate, all of that, Shane. We know all of that. I don't know who told him that South Africans are dumb. He's the only person from South Africa who is smart, and he's the only person who has a certain understanding. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Now, the judge challenged the defense directly. Do you have any other authorities you can give me? I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, what is this now? The judge specifically demanded legal precedent supporting the defense position that the court should intervene and compel the witness's attendance. In essence, the defense now faces a legal hurdle. It is no longer enough to say the witness is important. They must now convince the court that the law empowers the judge to act. Since when, son? Since when? If they succeed, a potential significant witness connected to the circumstances surrounding Danzi's arrest could be called. If they fail, the witness may never take the stand. The next hearing could therefore become a critical legal showdown over the witness compulsion, judicial powers, and whether the procedural barriers are preventing evidence from reaching the courtroom. In fact, that is what happened way before Judge Rata actually was forced by Nxumalo and Mshololo legally. One thing is certain, Judge Rata is demanding legal authority, not emotion, speculation, or opinion. The defense now has to produce the law. Do you know what happened after that? Mshololo and Nxumalo were like, sit down, Ramsipile, we got this. Mshololo got up and said, this witness is a police officer coming from another province, so that is why they need this for their departmental logistics. And then Nxumalo was like, to add on that, you can invoke Section 186 as promulgated, because what the hell is this? And just like that, everything was sorted. Judge Rata was like, okay, let me sign this so that people must not sign, not saying utengi, or meaning that people must not say he's been bought. He's refusing defense, a crucial witness to come on the stage. Say, whatever you say, that one is on you. We never said that, at least not to you. People have never said it, at least not to you. They are saying it there, go comment section and stuff. So you can't come here and be giving us ideas. Are you trying to say something to South Africans? What are you saying? Because that comment alone was like very pregnant. Why would you even suggest? It's not even you can't be joking about such things, in my view. They are not nice. They are not cool. There's nothing to joke about when it comes to that. So why would you try to joke about such? I don't understand. Anyway, I am happy to tell you that Ujad Ratamukhatleng eventually signed the order, and Brazo is going to come on Monday. And glory be to God, he is safe. He is fine. Wherever he is, he's going to make it to the courtroom, because you know what? Trinity has taken over the entire trial, and Trinity is showing them, I, the Lord, when the time is right, will make it happen. And there is nothing that anyone from anywhere can do about my Lord, about the case being solved. It will be solved, however it is solved. It will not be up to us as humans. It will be up to the Almighty God. That's the nice thing about it all. Do you understand? So what are your thoughts when it comes to Ujad Ratamukhatleng, no advocate Bale? Because I was a bit like, no man. Mm-mm. They are hell bent on not understanding Uram Sipile, and they are doing it purposefully. And they lost. Baloyi tried. For me, it was a situation of Baloyi trying to um make sure the witness does not set foot in that courtroom, only for reasons known to him. Ujad Rata was trying to assist as per usual, but both of them failed dismally because the defense was like, "Anistreli loco, we are going to do right by the Senzo Meyiwa case and by also Ntanzi's defense. That guy must come and tell us the details of what is happening." So I want to hear from you, wherever you are sitting. What do you think is going to happen this Monday? What do you think is this guy going to tell us? Thank you so much. I hope to see you on our comment section, where you are going to be discussing everything that you think of what happened on Friday and everything that you think is going to happen this Monday. What are your thoughts? Let's talk. I love you so much. Thank you. I'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.